Your business is a conscious evolution of yourself, or rather, a mirror of it. It's not a separate entity from you. I know this is not something we will learn in business school, sadly, because it would have saved me years of trying to figure this little game out. But my point is, your business is not separate from you. It is a living, breathing extension of your inner world. Every fear, every insecurity, every success, every failure that you are facing within your business is actually a message waiting to be deciphered from within. It's yourself sending yourself a message through your business that can be actually a key to your own conscious growth and evolution. And that's something that many of us founders fail to understand from the get-go. We are taught that doing a business, that building a startup is about grinding, hustling, chasing on the outside, looking everywhere. But inside of us, how does that make sense? If we go from the premise that the world around us is only a reflection of our inner world, then our businesses are even more so representative of that reflection. And very often it is extremely enhanced. If we are not aware of it, we can very easily fail, first and foremost. And second, we can very easily burn ourselves out in the process, end up in situations where we are not fulfilled at all by what we are building, and perhaps even stagnating or not knowing how to move forward. Very often when we are facing setbacks, when we are facing challenges, we tend to look on the outside of us for solutions. But actually, what I have personally learned is that very often the solution is within us. It's by stopping and looking inside that we will find the solution for the outside. Again, that's not the way we have been taught to do business in the 21st century, but it is the only way for us to be able to move forward into this new entrepreneurship era, into this new way of building businesses that are aligned with the conscious evolution of humanity. Now, the most powerful tool at your disposal when building a business is, and some of you might lynch me for saying this, is not your customers, it's not your product, it's not some fancy cutting edge technology or marketing strategies or go to market or whatsoever. Nope. It is, ladies and gentlemen, your self-awareness. And trust me, I am saying this, I'm actually laughing while saying this because I've had conversations where I would say this and people would just be shocked, especially people coming from the traditional business mindset. In my opinion, and from my own experience, to truly excel, you must look inwards. To be able to sit in a room with yourself in complete silence, with no distraction, in the dark until you die. No, I'm joking. But you get the idea. It's really about being comfortable with yourself when there is no distraction around you. Is to look at all the different areas of you and to understand what are your weaknesses, what are your strengths, what are your triggers, because those are signposts. They are guiding lights showing you how you would do in challenging situations. They allow you to build up your resilience that is primordial when building a business, when building a startup. They are able to guide you into defining your core values, which again is primordial when building a startup. They are able to ground you in your authentic self. And it is only by owning, by knowing, first knowing, accepting, forgiving, and then owning all of these sides of you that obviously you'll also be transmuting, you'll also be changing as you get to know which ones are serving you, which ones are not serving you. How can you use the ones that are not serving you to your advantage? How can you turn them into power? Because that's what it is. Our the places we are often scared to go to, which is usually our shadow or our dark side, actually hold our most potent power. And that's the fuel to our successful businesses. Now, it is up to you if you want to bring that into light and use it as a fuel to propel you forward and to help you achieve your purpose with such ease and grace, to help you achieve whatever goal that you have set for yourself. Or if you want to ignore them and struggle as you are facing certain challenges that you don't know how to resolve because the answers are actually inside of you. It's truly extremely important to do the inner work when you are starting a business. It's something that I've learned as when I was building my previous startup, I had no notion of who I was whatsoever. I really had this received idea of grinding, hustling, going on the outside of me. I didn't think, not even one split second, that knowing myself or the way I was behaving was actually impacting my business, or the way I was behaving outside of the business context was actually impacting my business, because we are holistic beings, and each and every area of our lives, of our being, be it our emotions, our mindset, our physical self, our relationships, our health, our wealth, our contribution, purpose, or passion, they are all affecting each other, and our businesses as well, because they are that reflection of us. And so I was grinding and hustling until I completely burnt myself out. And burning myself out led me into this path of self-discovery. And now that I'm building this current business, I am approaching it completely differently. When I'm facing a problem outside of me, a business problem, I'm actually looking within me. Which area of me have I not addressed that is now reflecting on the outside as us stagnating, or as us facing this challenge or this difficulty? And once I resolve that within myself, first and foremost, then the solution on the outside becomes so clear and easy, because what I'm doing here is I'm clearing the way that is stopping me from hearing my intuition. This is something that is also extremely important. Again, not taught in business schools. You would hear successful leaders talk about it later on, but very early on, no one mentions it, because I do believe that very few people are aware of the power of intuition when we are playing this startup game. When you get to know yourself, you are actually clearing the path between you and your intuition, and you are able to hear it more clearly. Now, I know that the way we are traditionally thought is to make business decisions through data, through logic, through more tangible and quantifiable points, which in a way makes sense. But in a way, that's not the full picture. Your intuition has the most accurate data points ever. Something that we do not understand is our body, like this flesh, is actually the most advanced piece of technology on earth. Literally, we tend to not trust it because schools, our parents, culture, our surroundings, the books that we read are teaching us otherwise. We think that technology means our phones, means our computers, means whatever it is. But actually, no, our technology is us. First and foremost, this is the most powerful technology that we hold is our body, it's our breath, it's the way we move, it's our energy, it's all of that. And once we start mastering this technological piece right here, then the outside world, mastering the outside world, becomes so much easier. When making a business decision that is fully aligned with your intuition, you know it is the right decision. Now, the tricky part rather, is that most of us are not aligned with our intuitions. We do not know how to hear our intuitions. And a trick that I've learned in my own journey is the way we distinguish between the voice of intuition or our highest self, if you believe in having a highest self, and the voice of our thoughts or our ego, is that the voice of our intuition feels expansive. It feels like you are expanding when following it, but it rather comes slow. First, you will most likely hear the voice of your ego, of your thoughts, which feels very impulsive. It brings a halt with it. It's pushing you to do this thing fast, fast, fast. There is an urgency behind it. And very often it is once we control ourselves into not listening, not acting upon that first impulse, we clear the way, then we allow for the voice of intuition to come through. Obviously, there is more work to be done in order to hear it clearly. It requires that self-awareness. It requires you being able to sit with yourself and to know yourself, to understand yourself, because then you will know, is this the voice of my ego? Is this the voice of my thoughts? Is this an impulse coming from an emotion, an unprocessed emotion? Or is it the voice of my intuition? Is it the voice of my highest self? Can I act upon this? What will be the outcome if I do? And very, very often, the outcome is expansive when you act on your intuition and not your ego. There was a bird. It's extremely important to do that inner work as we are building the businesses that are leading the way for the new age. We are at a point in our human evolution, in our collective evolution, that requires us to step into our full conscious beingness, acting from a place of being versus from a place of acting. What I mean here is that if we sit still and do the inner work and get to know ourselves, we are able to build our business from a place of simply being. Does that make sense? Or am I sounding too woo-woo? I think I'm sounding too woo-woo. I might edit this out. I might not, actually. I'm gonna try to explain it into a less woo-woo way. What I mean is, when we are born, okay, we are born into a certain context and we are shaped, our thoughts, our minds, our subconscious minds, the way we are is actually shaped by the conditioning of the people around us, the environment that we are born into. And that makes us behave in a certain way in our lives, follow certain paths, and act in certain ways when we are building our businesses. Operating from a place of being versus a place of acting means stripping yourself away from those societal conditionings, from those values that are not yours, from those norms that you've incorporated into your being, from those automatic behaviors that you've been taught to operate from, and really ask, what is it that I stand for? What is it that I want? What are my core values? Who is I? If you ever find the answer to that question, please let me know, because I'm still searching. What I truly mean here is, who is the most authentic expression of myself that I want to lead this business that I am building? And what is that reflection going to look like through this business? Does that make sense? When you align with your authentic self, you will see that success will just start flowing naturally, because you are aligned with your essence. You are aligned with whatever mission, purpose you came to put out into the world. Okay, and every setback, every challenge become an opportunity for growth. It might look hard on from an outside perspective, but for you it's so easy. And I have a lot of my friends that keep on saying to me, oh my god, I don't know how you do what you're doing, this looks so hard, I would never. And to me it's just like, well, yes, I recognize that from an outside perspective, it might look hard, but to me, it's child's play. It's child's play because I am having fun going through these challenges. I am having fun overcoming these obstacles. It's all an opportunity for me to grow through it. And what looks really, really, really hard is to be sitting behind a desk doing a fucking 9 to 5, a boring 9 to 5. No, that to me would be killing my essence. It would be so misaligned. Okay, I'll tell you a story. There was a time where, and I was in university, and I always knew that I wanted to ultimately do my own business, but obviously I was still in between both worlds with the societal pressures of you need to get a job, and especially in the UK, it's like, oh my God, you need to get a job in investment banking. And I'm smart enough to land some some interviews, and I remember I went at an interview at Deutsche Bank, and I sat there, and it was for capital markets, and the guy across me looked at me at some point, and he was like, "What are you doing here?" And I remember I was, what do you mean? And he was like, okay, look, you're clearly smart and we would hire you, but you clearly don't want to be here. Since you got here, you keep on talking about startups and crypto and this and that. And it really sounds like you really don't want to come here. You really don't want to work here. And truth be told, I didn't want it to work there. I just went because I wanted to prove something for myself, and I don't know, I was exploring, and so I ended up saying, yeah, you're right, I don't want to work here. And so I remember he called his colleague, he came, sat down, we talked about crypto for an hour, and then I left. And I think since that day it was even more clear to me, that was the feedback that I was getting from the outside world. My point is I probably would have succeeded at that job because I'm smart enough to do it, but at what cost? And that's my point. When you're doing a startup, when you're building a business, when you are not aligned with who you truly are, and that version of you expressing itself on the outside through your business, you will struggle, you will suffer, you will burn yourself out, and it will not feel like child's play. When we are building a business, it must feel like that. Yes, it is fucking grueling, and it is hard, and it is challenging, and all of that, but it doesn't have to feel like that. It is part of the process. It is part of the game. Like, we will always feel pain. We will always feel sadness. We will always feel all of these negative emotions that we don't want to feel, stress, anxiety, whatever. And it's not about not feeling them anymore. It's about how we manage them. And knowing ourselves, self-awareness, is the key to be able to manage all of this madness with such ease and grace, and be able to grow as we are going through this incredible journey. Because at the end of the day, like, what is this all about if not to play and have life to pay us for it so generously? I mean, that's my personal philosophy, and that's what I'm here to do. I don't know about you. Maybe it's time to ask yourself. All of this to say, embrace self-awareness as the key to your highest success in business. Your business will always be, whatever you create, your business or else, will always be a mirror to your conscious evolution. So start being more mindful, start being more aware, and start using tools like meditation, energy healing, breath work. All of these alternative tools are actually super important, super powerful in helping us get through this path and elevate not only our consciousness, but also the reality that we are living in. So it is up to you, my friend, if you want to do that or not. I'm only here and will be sharing more of my experiences. I'm Maya, by the way. I didn't introduce myself. I'm the co-founder and CEO of a global marketplace connecting conscious guides with seekers all over the world. So that's kind of my thing, this whole consciousness game. But I'm also extremely passionate by building stuff, by creating, by putting things out there. I am here to change the world at scale. And part of that is putting these little videos out there and to start spreading the seeds of conscious business wherever they land. So I hope you found that useful. Subscribe if you want to hear more. I will be, I promise, posting more, and I'll see you on the next one.